Grand evening, everyone. I just wanted to come on tonight to give my thoughts on a couple topics. The first of which being 19 Keys and its higher level conversation store. I was blessed to be able to attend this show in Detroit. I found 19 Keys online. He popped up on my, you know, timeline on YouTube, on my, watch list, and I kind of didn't really mess with 19 Keys because I thought he was coming from a very spiritual, religious background, and that kind of turns me off. I don't have a problem with spirituality. Sometimes the tradition of religions can get a bit much for me, but that kind of steered me away from listening to his message at first. So it came up on my YouTube, and I was going to sleep, so I'm like, I'll let this place be kind of chill. Who knows? But I thought it'd put me to sleep. Turns out it did the exact opposite. I couldn't sleep. I would drift off, and 19 Keys had a higher level conversation with Mr. Billy Carson. And as they kept talking, I couldn't really sleep. I'm like, man, they're talking about like this is very interesting. They started speaking about time, the essence of time, calendars, quantum things, quantum physics, and I was just mind blown. I'm like, wow. And I kind of went to sleep, and when I woke up, I'm like, oh, I gotta play this back. I played it back, and I was so awed by the conversation. So I'm like, man, I didn't know who I wanted to jump into first, 19 Keys or Billy Carson. So I think I went to Billy. I went to Billy Carson, and I started, jumping into his stuff, and man, really deep. So I jumped into Billy, and I jumped into 19 Keys, and watched so much of his material and listened to his message and listened to conversations with the people and beings that he brings to his platform, and it's just amazing. And I want to first show my appreciation and give my thanks to EYL, 19 Keys, Billy Carson, New Era Detroit. And I'll say New Era Detroit because they were at the 19 Keys Higher Level Conversation Detroit. When I heard about the higher level conversation, I'm like, oh, I gotta go. They coming to Detroit, like this is for me. This is for me. And you see what I got on my head, right? Like, no mind the hair, but you know what time it is. So I'm like, they coming to the D, they gotta go. So I got with a couple of my, conscious friends, and I'm like, listen, we need to do this. And we was kind of like playing around. And it came down to like a couple days before, and I'm like, we gotta do this. So I put it together, got the tickets. And we were just like, okay, we're going to meet up down there. So I picked up my friend, and we rode down there. And I mean, downtown, it was midtown, not downtown. The Masonic Temple, and it's just like parking. It's not the greatest. But so we had to park a little ways. And, we walked up, and when we were walking up, the gentleman with security hops out of a vehicle. I'm like, man, is this 19 Keys? I'm like, no, it was New Era Detroit Zeke, who is a pillar in our community, and 19 Keys says that New Era Zeke reminds him of Fred Hampton. But New Era Detroit is a movement in not only in our city, in our country, across the globe, that advocates for community. Simply, they advocate for community. And I'm really down with that, either on their message. I haven't had a chance to attend, any events. And I can, I'll donate a little something. But the message that they gave, the message that was received at a higher level conversation in Detroit, is that it is time. It is our time. It is time for a change. And the message for Detroit, because I'm sure the message is different from whatever place that you go, because you have to connect with whatever beings or whatever energy is in that place, and our energy in Detroit is scattered. But sometimes we do have violence, um, hate towards one another, crime, and it's pretty much senseless because you steal from somebody, around a corner down a block. You know what I'm saying? And that same person could be your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. So we really, just harming ourselves. But the message was that this is our time, this is our era. Let's make it a new era and not leave to chance our future and the future of those who come after us. So, Detroit is a city where there is a lot of energy, and for us to be able to channel that energy into a positive form, I know will have parallel benefits to us, to the citizens, to those who encounter that energy. Like I said, I was blessed to go to the show, so I really appreciate that message from New Era Z from 19 Keys. And I didn't even know, because I hadn't been on social media leading up to a lot of this, because my life has a lot of different things going on, but I still won't let that get in the way of what's important. This was very important. So as I was attending the show, I didn't know that Billy Carson was going to be there, man. And when he brought out Billy, like, it was just I don't know, it was just confirmation that I'm on the right path, because this what I'm doing right here, this is going to lead me to being on Billy's network. That's my goal. That's one of my goals, to establish a few shows, several shows, and to get them onto a network. And Billy is looking for new content, so that's part of the plan. But when Billy came out, it was just, like I said, confirmation and inspiring to see some of the people who we see and attempts to model our behavior after, people who are doing positive things. It's good to see those people, not just in person, but yes, in person, but it's the energy that you feel, the aura of being around high vibrational, high energy beings, and it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it. And it's a real blessing to be able to bring that energy to a place such as this, Detroit. And, I've grown up here. I moved away for a while, and, came back. And I know that as me being born and raised in Detroit, that it is my duty to give back to my community, and doing these videos, coming online, this is part of it. This is part of that, and I just really appreciate everyone listening and giving their thoughts, opinions, and time, because that's how we create change, one person at a time, one step at a time, sharing things. And the message that was shared was really awesome, and the message was important. And also what was very important was the presence, showing up, putting Detroit on the schedule amongst other, major cities, and showing that, hey, we know that there's a struggle here. We know there's an issue here. Let's fix the issue, listening to Billy Carson, 19 Keys, a lot of the conscious community, it's about, one thing I've learned is about perspective. And, I've shifted, I'm working on it, shifting to looking at problems as opportunities, because they're opportunities for change, opportunities to find solutions, opportunities to better ourselves. And what's really funny, and this is another testament to how the universe works. We were at the Higher Level Conversation show, and we sat down and we went to get some snacks like chips and stuff. And, we came back and there were advertisements of it. We were scanning the QR codes, a couple of them, things like that. And there was one up there with a honeycomb, and I didn't get to scan that one. They were moving, and I scanned a couple, and I'm looking at them. So is that I found out later that the advertisement was from the Honey Drip Network. The Honey Drip Network is a product of Aristotle Investments, AI. When I came home that night, I couldn't really sleep because I was so juiced up on this, and I'm making plans about things and stuff. Um, I couldn't sleep, so I'm up, I'm writing, I'm thinking, and I'm online, and I'm just like posting stuff and seeing what they post because like I love creating content, so I'm taking pictures and posting and reposting and like New Year's Eve was like retagging and stuff, so it was just like you're just engaging. And while I was doing that, I saw somebody I was already following live. It was like Aristotle Investments. So I'm like, all right, let's see what's going on. So I go in there, and he was just talking really honestly about his paths to success and what he does. And I'm like, who is he? And I kind of look at his page, and it's like sports betting, options trading. I'm like, oh, he's a trader. I'm like, okay. So I'm listening, I'm looking, and he's talking, and then he has his wife on there, and I'm like, his wife on there, like, how many people, you see with their wife on there, like, they chilling, like, just talking. I'm like, wow. And the stuff he started saying about trading, I have a little bit of experience with trading, Forex and crypto. I'm like, man. So I click on a couple of his links, and I see that Honeycomb. I'm like, what? And I go through his page. He sponsors the 19 Keys Higher Level Conversations tour. I'm like, oh, like okay. I'm like, okay. So he already linked with Billy and 19 Keys, and I know they're valid because I've been listening to their message. I've been studying, because when you listen to something, it's one thing to hear something, but it's another thing to read and discover it for yourself. Because when you see that confirmation for yourself, then I mean, that's not something that anyone told you. You've seen that with your eyes, with your own eyes. So I was already following him. I saw his logo at the Higher Level Conversations tour, and I jumped on his live that night. That's what we call a trading confluences. Like you have multiple things happening, pointing you in one direction. That's what we call a sure trade. So I jumped on there, and then he had like a free trial, and I'm just like, and I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. But it was like Friday, because you got to think the show was on Friday. So I'm like, the market's closed Friday. So I'm like, all right, let me think. Like, I'm not about to join right now. I'm gonna wait until Monday to join. So I was sitting over here Sunday. My girlfriend, I had watched his live Sunday, YouTube live, and I'm just like, man, they put a link up like, you can join now for $25 instead of $35. And me, I'm like, oh, that's for me. I'm like, I'm about to say $10. Like, plus this is a deal. I'm like, I already want it, so I'm like, all right. My girl ended up doing it for me, but she ended up paying the $35. She put the coupon in, so I'm like, all right, well, we in. Yeah, Sunday, and I jump in, and I start. Trading. I know a little bit from Forex, so I know kind of about trading it. First day, I make some money. Like with Forex, I went through this one program. I don't want to shout them out, like, because they're cool. Like I learned a lot, but it's like learning and trading, like Aristotle, AI investments, Honey Drip. Like it was like learning, trading combined. Like you can learn it, and we about to trade it right now. And that's what I started doing, and that's where I'm at right now. Like I'm just 4 days into the trial, but like, so I'm already making money. I haven't made a bunch of money, but I started off with a smaller amount, but it's growing. That's a better return. Like I'm not gonna lie, from you trade, like I done a few things, trying a few things, like just return with the low risk. All I need to do is to study, and not follow people, but engage in these chats, listen to these people, and compare that with my own analysis, and we can be profitable, like we can be successful. Like this is life changing. It is. It is, like, and it's dope. Like, and I just really want to shout out 19 Keys, EYL, Billy Carson, Aristotle, Asia, like, y'all the truth. Like, they are on some real, like, all that other stuff. Sometimes right here, I'm not saying like other people are fake, but these people right here, they got the stem. Like, in Detroit, we not playing no games. Like, we want the real. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's difficult to get to because people don't want to always just like take you in and show you the game. Like, people like, oh, you got to pay, you got to do this. Like, nah. And with that, I mean, you could pay for the mentorship, but they also do have free services. Like, I believe everyone should be paid for their gifts and talents and services. But at the same time, like, it's different levels. Like, I jumped in here and I'm already making something. Like, it's a difference from investing, and there are different plays for different time frames. Sometimes you need to, because I went to another program and I learned how to trade. You know what I'm saying? If I came onto Aristotle's, I could have learned that here. But, I went that route. So it's like you still need to learn it. It just depends on how you do it. But Honey Drip Network, yeah, they lit. It's the truth. Like, they in there not just making money, but teaching you how to make money and making money. And, that's what we're going to do. So, like, I started options trading, which I was already interested in. I had taken Billy Carson's course on options trading, which gave me some more background, and just everything is coming together. And that's my confirmation that I'm on the right path. Like, and people may say, like, I'm not perfect. I had some struggles that, I get into, but it's about what we continue to do, and what we do after that. So, we're going to keep going. Like, we went to the top. Like, my son made this for me before I ever went to a volcano. That was like 3 months ago, and you know what I'm saying, we manifested that. So I'm there. Where I want to go next, I'm probably going to go to Italy, and just check out some volcanoes over there. But one thing I learned is, speak it into being, and believe in yourself. But I will say the most important thing that I learned: discipline. Having self-discipline. And I'm still working on it. But the journey is always within. And that's where we're going. It's scary sometimes, but you gotta go deep to get, to pull that out of yourself. Without adversity, it's difficult for us to grow sometimes. So, that's what we're doing. One day at a time, step by step, But I appreciate people, you for listening. Any comments, questions you have, please leave them in the chat. Check out my podcast. It is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It is called The Thread of Life. Like I said, I appreciate your support. Like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next time. Blessings to you all.